Time now to go in depth. Holly Gregory talks to an IndyCar driver from the Bay Area and the Executive Vice President of the Johns Hopkins All Children's Foundation about their race that gets kids involved in the fun for a good cause.
One of the best things connected to Race Week in St. Pete is a benefit for sick kids who are in the hospital, and that is the annual Carts for Kids race. And we have with us Janine Rabin from Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital, and of course also Sebastian Bourdais, the IndyCar driver who won last year's Firestone Grand Prix, to tell us more about Carts for Kids. Thank you both for being with us.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for having us.
And I'll start with you, Sebastian. Carts for Kids, it's in its 8th year. It benefits kids who need it the most. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, it all started obviously following Dan Weldon's passing.
Yes.
It was the Porsche Club that kind of got it all started, and it grew from $8,000 charity to $130,000 charity last year, involving Firestone and IndyCar, and thanks to the Grand Prix moving the venue from Anderson Race Park to the actual Grand Prix track at downtown St. Pete. So really just grew from something very small to something pretty significant for the hospital and for the kids. And being the local, I kind of took over from Patrick Long, who used to be the link with the pro drivers, and really honored to do that. It's just a great cause, and there's a lot of people behind it.
And Dan Weldon, of course, another local race car driver who unfortunately passed away doing the sport that he loved many years ago. This started to honor him, and the proceeds go to benefit Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital. And Janine, talk about what those funds are used for.
Sure. So as Sebastian was saying, the race has just advanced and grown so much in these past years. So what started as about $6,000 a year is now $130,000 a year.
Great.
So we think this is the year that over a total of $500,000 over the 8 years of the race, that will be the grand total. And that's significant when you have a community group like Cart for Kids invest in a hospital like ours. It's the second biggest fundraiser that another group does to benefit us each year, and they've supported a variety of things. Last year with their gift, it supported the purchase of 3 EEG units and also an ECMO unit. So it's very important to Cart for Kids and the committee to be investing in things that are directly helping the kids and their families and their care. So just a variety of things throughout the hospital, but most recently some great equipment for us.
All right, and Sebastian, you call St. Pete home, and to be able to help out and know that this goes directly to families. I mean, for those of us who have healthy children, you have to stop and remember what a blessing it is to have those healthy kids, but to know that there are families who are going through things that are so hard with their children, and to be able to help out. What's that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a dad of 2, 9 and a 12-year-old. Obviously, we feel obviously always super blessed that they are healthy, and hope that we'll never have to use All Children's Hospital. But unfortunately, it's not the case for everybody. And we've done many tours and witnessed it in person, and to see the work that they do and how it can really help and save lives is paramount. And that's why we do it. And that's why we put so much heart and time into it.
Well, tell me more about Carts for Kids. When is the race? What will people see? Who gets to do it? all the details.
Yeah, so there's quite a few details that the fans can see on the website, which is cart4kids.org. So you can attend the event. There are VIP tickets that you can buy to see the show. It's an hour plus race with 5 amateurs and 1 or 2 pros. It's just a fun evening. There's just a lot of good things going on, and there's a big auction thanks to my fellow IndyCar drivers and a lot of other pro drivers from other series. There are a lot of helmets, fire suits, gloves, shoes, signed memorabilia, and you can there's a lot of things, and you can see the link of the auction, which is online. You can bid yeah, it's all up for grabs on the website, and just a lot of work, but ultimately, you know, when you see the profits and the proceeds of the thing, it's awesome.
And how it's grown over the years, Janine, what has that meant for the hospital? You know, even just starting out, it was so much smaller than what it is today.
Right.
But to see it grow like that's got to be a great thing to watch.
It is. It is. It's actually astonishing when you see just the. I was actually looking at the bar chart and seeing the growth. And so what happens when new money like that is raised is that we're able to completely turn around and be able to impact care for the patients. So we're a nonprofit hospital. It requires nonprofit partnership from people in the community, groups like K4K to be making gifts to us, and so the difference it makes is directly impacting care, and that is an important element to this group.
Yeah, I think the only thing worse than going through a health problem yourself is to see your children go through it. What sort of support services do you provide for the families? I mean, that's just such a hard thing to watch.
Definitely.
Your child go through.
So I'd say two main areas that just start in a children's hospital but really make the experience unique are our social workers, who can always be on hand to provide additional services that a family may need. Sometimes after a long stay in the hospital, you have to not go to work. You know, you have to make some choices about what bills you pay, your medical bill or your rent, those kinds of things. So either our foundation directly can help those families, or also our social work department helps them have access to other organizations that can assist. The second is our child life division, and that's a division that I always say helps a kid still feel like a kid when they're in the hospital, and that can be teaching services, it can be somebody coming in the room just to color with the patient. We have a roaming musician who plays songs, brings her guitar. So, you know, those are two probably very important additional services you'll see in a children's hospital, and definitely at ours.
Now, Sebastian, of course, this all connected to the Firestone Grand Prix coming up, and you're the defending champ here. So, just how you feeling as you're getting ready? What's this time of year like for you?
You know, it's obviously all preparations right now. We have one more test at Sebring, just leading up to the Grand Prix on Monday. So that's going to be a final rehearsal before we bring the trailers and the whole team to the St. Pete Grand Prix. So. You know, obviously we've been fortunate enough to win it the last 2 years. Not always purely on speed, but just kind of benefited from incidents and just did our homework and execute it. So it's always a bit of a chaotic race. I think it's the first one, and everybody kind of gets back in the saddle, and everybody wants it a little too hard sometimes. So you know, it's just if you keep your nose clean and you can go through all the little incidents without the scratch, usually you can finish pretty well. And you know, obviously the support of the community has been great and growing for me, and really making me feel part of it. Yeah, it's just been really awesome to win at home like that in front of friends and family. And obviously we have stability in the team with Delcon Racing and Vassar & Sullivan. We have great sponsors with you know, our big title sponsor with Sailmaster, and it's just Honda is very involved with us, and I guess we'll just give our very best and hope that it happens again.
Well, thank you both for being here, and good luck to you on the race. And K4K, the number 4 kids, to find out more if you want to bid on the auction items, or to find out more about the race, and goes to such a great cause in our community. So thanks both for coming to tell us about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, it's still going.
Greg's got new moves.
What was that? These little speedy carts are hitting the track this weekend to fight for kids fighting for their lives. We talk about the 9th annual K4K with IndyCar driver and Firestone Grand Prix champ Sebastian Bourdais and some of his friends from Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital.
Hey, Sebastian.
He signed our wall, so he's the nicest guy. IndyCar driver Sebastian Bourdais won the Firestone Grand Prix last year, but his true victory comes when he helps the kids of Johns Hopkins All Children's. Next, we talk about K4K, and that's right after the break. It's one of Johns Hopkins All Children's top fundraisers ahead of the Firestone Grand Prix.
And this year, for the second time, the Kart for Kids Pro-Am will be held on the actual racetrack for the 2019 Firestone Grand Prix. Welcome to the show. Last year's winner, Sebastian Bourdais. We have Janine Rabin from All Children's, and we also have patient ambassador Clifford Mason here. Welcome, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Welcome back. I know pressure's on for you again to win this year's Grand Prix. How are you feeling?
Yeah, it's feeling really good. Obviously, new season starts always at home here in St. Pete, so pretty excited.
Yeah.
And got a big week, leading up. We got a test session at Sebring, which is the last rehearsal kind of before the Grand Prix, and then we're going straight into the Kart for Kids event, setting up the track and the event itself.
So how does the Kart for Kids event work? You're paired with an amateur, right?
Yeah,
Kid.
so basically it's a bit of a comprehensive thing, but it's all around the Pro-Am race, which is about an hour long, with up to five amateurs, and they're paired with one or two pros. The pro starts and the pro finishes, and then around that there is an auction with lots of apparel and helmets and suits donated by IndyCar drivers and GT drivers, and it's gotten bigger and bigger on that side, and thankfully we have a lot of contributors, companies, sponsors. So yeah, last year we managed to raise the bar up to over $100,000. It was 130,
Amazing.
and we're shooting for 200. We don't know if we'll get there, but that was the target.
Well,
so
hopefully
it's
we
going
will.
to get close to that.
And it's all about the kids, right? It's all about
yes.
Johns Hopkins and helping the kids
Right.
who are there. Tell us about how big of a difference this makes for the hospital and how much the hospital appreciates the efforts of the racers and the drivers and all that.
Right. So our community partnerships are huge for our hospital, and the Kart for Kids group probably does our second biggest fundraiser for the hospital. All the dollars raised go directly to the kids. Last year, as Sebastian was saying, $130,000 was raised, and that helped us purchase extra EEG machines that we needed, an ECMO machine that we needed. So in years past, their dollars have supported direct care for our children and programs.
So this
But-
is literally changing lives.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And we couldn't do it without help with groups like Kart for Kids. We're a nonprofit hospital, and we just need the community support, and they deliver.
Speaking of, we're talking about children just like Clifford. Clifford, you're a patient at All Children's. What is it like for you being a kid at that hospital? What has your experience been like there?
It was great. Everybody there, it's more of they're not just doing their job, they actually care about you and want to make you better.
That is good. Are you a kart racing fan?
Yeah.
Maybe becoming more of one after this, possibly. So tell us, if you could, you have so much to think about going into any of these races, but you're also spending your time and attention helping these children. How are you able to manage all of that? You could just be focusing on one thing, but instead you really focus on so many.
Yeah, well, I just turned 40 years old today, so I'm not a kid anymore.
Happy birthday!
Thanks. And it's just like it's actually a very nice distraction for me. I kind of go into the start of the season not thinking about it, because all I do from a month before until the race itself starts on Thursday is all about pretty much Kart for Kids, trying to gather the troops, make sure that my fellow competitors and racers IndyCar are gonna come, they're gonna donate stuff, and we're gonna raise money. So yeah, it's a very welcome distraction, and it's a nice way to give back to the community.
Making a
Good
big
thing.
difference,
Yeah.
too.
Thank you so much,
Thank
guys.
all of you
Appreciate it.
so much.
Thank
Kart
you.
for Kids Pro-Am, March 6th in downtown St. Pete. Starts at 3 o'clock. For more information, just visit karts, that's with a K, 4kids.org.